Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's online match between Camberley Chess Club and Edinburgh Chess Club. We've arranged this match partly. We have a series of matches every now and then against other clubs, but we're particularly pleased to be playing Edinburgh this year, which is a year, I understand, for them. It's their 200th anniversary as a chess club. So, I think that must rank them as one of the oldest chess clubs in the world. So very pleased to be playing them tonight. We've set up a match which is due to start at 8 o'clock. It's an 8-board match. Looking at the grades, it seems to be very evenly matched. So we should be in for a good game. Everybody's going to be playing 2 games each. I think 20 minutes each is the time. And we're very pleased that we've got Colin Purdon tonight, who's going to be comparing and hopefully, if we can get the technology all sorted, zipping between boards, showing us a few things. But please bear with us if we don't get the technology right all the time. If there's no questions, I'm going to hand over to Colin just before the match starts in about a minute's time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. Yes, indeed, the technology may or may not be challenging, so hopefully it'll all work smoothly. I'll wait for the match to start before sharing my screen, and then, actually, while I do that, I'll start sharing now, and then people can tell me where I'm going wrong. I do go wrong. It's not calm, blah, blah.
I think one of the things that I may just come in, Colin, and say is you'll see some people have got nicknames. We know the names of some of these people, certainly the Camberley ones.
Yeah.
And so we'll do our best to point out who the people are in terms of the names. Maybe if I just run through them, Colin, just we've got Clive Frostick on one. Cobb Banana is Paul Sloan. Julian. Forgotten Julian's. Is it Julian?
He's Jumush.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, I hope that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure who Rocky Roller is.
That's Andrew Smith.
Excellent. Right. So we note there that it's done in order of chess.com grades or ratings. So Andrew Smith, as you might expect, would be on normally on board 1. Martin, Mr. Zugzwanger is Rob. Forget last name. Bloomy is Paul Bloom, and Daniel Sheck, young Mr. Sheck, is down on board 8.
Okay, so I think it might have just started. I saw a match will start in a few seconds. Yeah. So in order to see the game, I'm hoping that I can just click around here.
Try to click.
And shall I risk it? Okay, that didn't work. Okay, another fine plan goes missing. Let's do this. Can you see my new tab?
Yes.
Clive. Okay. Can you see all those irritating messages come up?
Yeah.
Those. Hiding behind all the people. So, games. No games in progress.
Okay. Quite good so far.
Not very good. Okay. Cobb Banana. No games in progress. Are you seeing the same, Mark? Can I ask, just to see if it is my...
Okay, let me let me try and understand that, because it's 8:02. You would have expected it to start. So let me go into Paul's game. It says playing. It's allowing me to watch. And yes, Paul and his opponent, Andre Antunes, have rattled off quite a few moves.
Oh, have they? Okay, I'm very sorry, chaps, that I can't see it.
So if I was you, so if you click on Cobb Banana as a name, click on his name, and where it says playing, can you see the red?
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
That'll bring up his game.
Okay, so well, a little bit into it. So Paul Cobanana, aka Paul Sloan, is obviously white, and we've got what have we got here? It looks like a Tartakova variation of the Queen's Gambit, without h6 having been played. So you can see the evaluation bar here on the left, if I don't go over, saying it's about equal. I suspect that this is Paul's displayed bishop d3. I don't know what to say really. But both sides have got good development. All white's pieces are pretty much out. He hasn't castled yet. That's the only thing missing. Typical plan for black would be to play pawn takes pawn, bishop takes pawn. So the bishop spent 2 moves to get to c4 rather than 1.
Colin,
then, yeah.
May I ask a question? Because I had a very similar position last night, and I played bishop e2 because I didn't want to retake the pawn with the bishop and waste the move.
Right.
My idea being that if he took the pawn, I was going to play queen a4.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
It's one of the great, what's the word, debates, or one of those perpetual questions that you've always got to ask as white, and indeed as black in symmetrical positions. Do I put the bishop on e2? So Mark's point is that after pawn takes pawn, it isn't a tempo on the bishop, and you could look at other ways of grabbing the pawn, either by queen a4 or maybe ignoring it and doing something else. There are pros and cons with the bishop on d3 and on e2. The advantage of the bishop on d3 is that it's a bit more active. You're slightly pointing at the king, and you are helping to cover the e4 square. Though in this particular position, black's got 2 pieces on it already. The disadvantages of it on d3 are what Mark pointed out, so no doubt. And the other disadvantage of the bishop on d3 is that it gets in the way of the queen's defense of d4 and potentially d5. So putting it on e2 avoids those 2 problems. But on e2, it is slightly more passive. So I think it's either a highly theoretical question, there's lots of theory and theory decides in the end, or it's a question of taste in a lot of cases. I think on this one, we are still pretty much in the opening. So let's keep that one there. Simply because I've got a tab open, go to Clive's game. The nice friendly playing button appears. And wow.
Just while you're doing that, Colin, just
sorry. That's just brought up exactly the same game. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, just while you're doing that, just welcome to the new joiners who've just come in. Kim, I can see you've joined. Jack, who's first time at the chess club last Thursday, so welcome. And Mike Gunn as well. And so as you, I think you realise this is we're following a match against Camberley, and Colin is comparing. So he's asking questions. Now I may have to mute somebody there. I was just muted you, Kim. So back to you, Colin.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's despite my best attempts, it's always demanding to show Paul's game. So I'll just do that again. So Clive Frostick playing. So I'll click there, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, I would have thought that would allow you to watch.
Yeah, and it's come up with
Paul's.
Do you think it's opened it in another tab, Colin, and you've got another tab with the other games?
I've been trying to keep open tabs to just to maybe I'm confusing it by having more than one tab open. Let me try with another user. Let's try Julian's. So opening a new tab. I think I might have done that already. Let's close that one. Playing.
Like it too.
Okay. Who said that there would be technology problems? Sorry, Mark, to dump this on you again. Can you check if that's doing that to you?
Colin, can I just suggest at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, I've suddenly seen Julian's picture crop up. So if you click on that, does that?
That was me chatting to him earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the best bet, I thought.
you could well be right.
Yeah,
Okay.
The games are underneath.
Yeah, they're the positions.
there you
Yes.
go. You can click on the game. Excellent. You can click on the games.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Are they the games he's currently playing? They're the
It
games
says
Julian
current
is currently
games.
playing online,
Ah,
Oh,
not the games being played.
Yeah.
that didn't work.
Okay, let's close these other tabs then. Maybe that's confusing everybody, not just me. Julian playing. Aha. Okay, here we go. Phew. Okay, in this game, Julian is playing the black pieces. So my clever idea of keeping multiple tabs open has failed miserably. No surprise there. Yeah, they're rattling out the moves as well. And chess.com helpfully, let's go through the opening moves if it lets me. Scandinavian defense,
Yeah.
played by Julian. We're looking at it from White's point of view, obviously. Queen d6, I've sat next to Ken Coates, who's played that many a time. It looks a really weird move, allowing this knight to b5, but Black's point is he just moves the queen, kicks the knight away, and it's White who's wasted time, not Black. But the queen just sort of sits on d6, irritating White, as far as I can make out as the purpose of it. It's obviously a good central square, and it's quite active. So, interesting decision. He swaps the knight off. And as is quite often when you give your opponent the two bishops, the colour of the bishop that you haven't got, namely the white one in this case, on the white squares, you put your pawns to restrict the opponent's spare bishop, if that's the correct expression, which I'm sure it isn't.
okay.
So both sides continue developing. Castles. And I'd have said at this point, I mean, I'm no expert in this line. The evaluation bar is saying White's got a bit of an advantage, I suspect simply because he's got space. But I think Black can be reasonably pleased with the outcome of the opening. He's gearing up to break open in the centre, grab some space in the centre with e5. White hasn't really put him under a lot of pressure. White's well developed and he's got a bit more space maybe. But I think Black's basically okay. Julian swaps off pieces. It's his queen back where it came from. I don't know. This looks very even to me. Who knows what will happen? I don't think this knight is any worse than this bishop. So.
Colin, just point out, very interesting that Julian, if you look at Julian's clock, Julian is like replying instantaneously throughout all of this.
That is interesting. That could be simply because Julian knows the opening inside out, but he is a frighteningly fast player. I've played him a few times, and honestly, I've been 40 minutes down on the clock because he'll play good moves, or sometimes instantly. And this move is a typical one. I'd have said b5 was a very committal move. I haven't made up my mind if it's a good move or a bad move. I'll wait to see what White does first. But you can see that Julian just played it quickly. I mean, it's perfectly possible he's played similar games before, and he knows that it's okay, and this pawn isn't that weak, and he doesn't really have to worry about this diagonal at the moment. It's a good move. He's gaining space. But if that'd been me, even in a rapid game like this, I'd have spent 2 or 3 minutes on it probably.
Yeah.
And then decided not to play it because it was too risky. I don't know. But Julian is a very brave and a very quick player. He will make these moves, as I say, quickly, and is happy to see where the game goes after having done them. Okay, well, let's have a look at one or two other games before we get out of the opening. Did we manage to look at Clive's game? I can't remember.
I'm wondering, Colin, if that's maybe he's not accepted your friend request yet.
It could be that. Let's see. No, because he was a friend already. He was one of the few.
Okay.
Oh no, but there's Julian. So maybe you're right. Yeah. I wonder if there is a problem there. Okay, well, we'll go down to Martin. Please, everybody, ask questions so that I don't just drone on about inconsequential stuff, which I'm very liable to do. This is the Julian game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so what's happened?
New game.
White attacked the pawn with queen c3. We left it in this position. White decided to attack the pawn and Julian's just defended it. So I think that white will play to prevent black from playing, if he can, from playing c5 and or e5. e5 is not playable at the moment because just pawn takes pawn, wins out of hand, forks the pieces. c5 isn't playable because of bishop takes rook. But I suspect that white won't be able to prevent that throughout the game, but who knows? Okay, let's really try and get a different game up though. So, okay, let's try Daniel. We'll work from the bottom up and hope for better results.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, actually, this is Martin's game. So I think I'm going to have to click on the last but one link or something like that.
Sorry, Colin, I've just been trying exactly the same thing, and it seems to load up the previous request, and I even, so.
Okay. So,
yeah,
so maybe
sure.
just click it twice or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Please persevere with me and or chess.com. I'll blame the software. I'm not proud. That was probably my fault in the end. So, who's playing who? So this is Martin is black. So Martin can be relied on to fianchetto his king's bishop in every game, pretty much. And he plays those positions very well. So very cagey play by white. He just defends his pawn and he sniffs out the mere possibility of black putting a piece on g4. We saw in Julian's game that after knight f3, bishop g4 swapped it off. So black just develops, maybe prepares to play b5. White stops it. And Martin counterattacks in the center with e5. Okay. White grabs some space. So this has gone, let's just do a couple more moves. This has gone from, from a king pawn opening to a queen pawn opening pretty much. This position.
It started as a perk, didn't it? And
it started as a perk, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone into sort of a King's Indian.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, if you'd shown me this position immediately, I'd have said it was a King's Indian.
Yes, undoubtedly. It's just its origins. It's just the move order, really, isn't it?
It's pretty just move order, yeah. And it was helped to some extent by White's third move. I mean, if he played bishop d3, you know,
this is a bit naive, if we have to levy any criticism.
Yeah.
Premature, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It does leave the option of putting the c pawn, whereas if he'd defended the e pawn with the knight there, obviously he couldn't move the c pawn later. It's kind of a matter of taste. I tend to agree, though, James, that it is perhaps a little naive to play like this. For example, the bishop here is defending the pawn, but on the other hand, it might be wanted defending the king at some point. So both players gearing up. In the Queen's Indian, in the King's Indian, White normally attacks on the queen side. It's moves like c5, maybe b4 and a5, or b4 and b5, whereas Black goes for the king on the king side. And ends up trying to get a nice attack in. So I guess White's restraining Black's play. And here we go, the King's Indian move, f5. Black wants to, probably Black wants to start the pawn storm with f4, h6, g4, g5, I beg your pardon, and g4. So yeah, both players playing according to script. White on the queen side, Black on the king side. Oh, and there's a nice move from Martin. So he doesn't, as I suggested, prepare g5 with h6, but he plays g5 immediately. I guess, let me do this, he's not afraid of knight takes pawn, because after queen g6, the knight moves back and bishop takes h3. It's a mating attack, or potentially a mating attack on the white king. So White wisely prevents g4 and doesn't take the pawn. So White's dream is more or less to block the king side off, and if not make it impossible for Black to attack him, to make it take a very large number of moves, whereas in the meantime White hopes to have made inroads on the other side of the board. But the thing with the King's Indian is that if the attack works, it's checkmate, whereas if White's attack works, it's only some advantage on the queen side. So that's the position we have at the moment.
Interesting looking at the clocks on that one, Colin, as well. Again,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, what's happened with the Camberley players? They're all playing very fast. Yeah, I have to say I don't dislike Black's position at all, but the computer bar reckons it's a bit of a solid advantage for White. I guess computers know what they're doing, but I think that's computer giving perhaps a bit too much weight on the space advantage. Anyway, Martin retreats his knight, and he's doubtless going to be playing h4 and g4, and yeah, good luck defending that. Okay, let's go to another one. We hope. We haven't looked at Paul Bloom's game yet, have we?
No.
That's Daniel's game again. Let's go back.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Still Daniel's game. Okay. I am determined to get Paul's game. Okay.
Good luck with that then.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Can you remind me who Mr. Sugsvanger is?
That is Rob.
That's Rob. Okay. Well, let's see what happens with his.
Rob Hammond.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Oh, it says so, doesn't it? Okay, Daniel Sheck rules. Let's close these windows. Okay. Did we see Daniel's game, having said that?
No, I don't think we did.
No, we haven't.
Okay, I beg your pardon. Okay, well, let's stay with it on the grounds I don't have a lot of choice anyway. So, Daniel is playing the white pieces. And another King's Indian defence. This time Camberley on the white side. All sorts of options for both players. And Daniel chooses to play one of the fianchetto variations. So one of the big advantages of the fianchetto variation from White's point of view, where White fianchettos as well as Black, is that the kind of pawn storm that you saw in the previous game isn't quite as effective. Black can still do it, and he often does, but white's quite well defended on the king side, whereas with the pawns on their original squares and the bishop over there somewhere, that pawn storm seems to be a bit more effective. So it's a kind of a quieter, less risky system, if you like. I think black's wasted a bit of time with that because white quite often wants to play h3 anyway. And if black might have been better off swapping off the knight if he's going to put his bishop on g4 in the first place. And okay, Daniel grabs a bit of space in the center. b8, open for counterplay on the queen side. And Daniel goes straight down the center. And why not? Yeah, this pawn looks very well defended. And the knight goes back to the passive square. Yeah, so that, I feel I'm jinxing all the Camberley players here, but it looks like a good position from the opening for me. So, sorry, James?
Well, no, I mean, I think black has knight a6 seems to be, I'm not sure, it doesn't coordinate with anything else. I mean, it would, whereas, yeah, I would think Daniel has a plus here, rather more than any of the other games we've seen.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
There's none of his, well, this piece is kind of okay. It's attacking this pawn in the center. But, you know, as you said, nothing else is coordinating. The pieces don't coordinate at all, do they, really? And it isn't clear where black's play is going to come from. So, you know, white could even just sit on the position with moves like bishop f4, maybe. And
That's a good move.
Yeah.
Right. That might induce e6, which is a bit one too many black squares.
Yeah. So, it's kind of easy development. You know, he puts his bishop somewhere useful, hopefully. Bishop f4, g5 or e3 are all candidates. Moves the queen somewhere, puts the rook on the d file. You know, it's just a pleasant position to play. I'm not saying it's a forced win by any means, but it does look quite nice. So he does put his bishop on e3 against my advice, but he's attacking the a pawn. It's probably a better move.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Yeah, b6. So obviously a solid reply, but still a passive one. Okay, both sides limbering up on these diagonals. Oh, so sorry, I said because I was expecting Daniel just to play king h2 to protect his pawn. So
the e pawn is,
and the e pawn's hanging as well. So he's moved. Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting.
That's a strong move.
Yeah, I'd have played king h2 myself. Well, if it was a blitz game, I'd have played king h2. I don't know what I'd have played if I thought about it. Knight d4 is an active move, obviously. I've gone back too far, I beg your pardon. But it does leave this pawn hanging. So, well, I'm sure Daniel's thought it out. So what's his idea? h6. Okay. Okay. So he's attacking the rook and he's attacking the bishop. So black's got a choice.
well,
Either the move he played, bishop g7, or possibly take on d4, which would be very risky. So Daniel's point, I guess, is that once the bishop moves, whichever way it goes, then the e7 pawn is on priest. So that's the point.
I don't think it's risky. I think it's just bad
For
black.
oh, okay, okay.
Yes, I think that's.
I must admit, I would have just defended that H pawn. The fact that Daniel didn't, and you look at his position now, just shows you how strong I think his moves are. It's very impressive.
Oh, he's a strong player in the making.
He is a strong player. I wasn't implying it was a blunder. I'm sure he
No. On the contrary, it was because in a way, king h2 is the stereotype response, which
Exactly.
rather than.
Yeah, I'm good at those. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, and he's just thought this through. Yeah, I would have played nothing other than king h2, and look at his position now.
Yeah, especially in a rapid game, you know. It's yeah.
Yeah.
That's the very spark of.
Yeah. So, okay, so it's got a rook on the 7th, which can probably be supported by the moving the other rook over, and he's got pressure against this pawn. He loses the H pawn. Okay, this computer bar is giving it all away. It thinks he's completely winning. Okay, now I said this was a good position for white, but it's apparently completely winning. So, is
there a forced mate? I mean, is that?
Well, it's saying +4 or 5, wasn't it? Which is equivalent to a rook, being a whole rook up, +5, a whole rook up. So, who can explain to me why it's that good? Put that as an exercise to the audience on the grounds that I can't see it at the moment.
I don't see it.
So honestly, I mean, I can talk about the pluses in his position, but it doesn't look like a forced win to me. But it could be totally wrong, of course.
Can we take on C6?
Yeah, with which piece?
Since there's
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you take with the knight, can I put an analysis board up? Oh, is that going to show me the computer lines?
No.
Oh,
we've got to look at it, even if we ultimately reject it. I'm not saying.
Can you see that, by the way?
Yes.
The new window to me. So if knight takes pawn, okay, let's me play it. Hopefully it's not playing it on their board.
It doesn't like that.
It does not. The thing is, after bishop takes bishop, the knight's unprotected. Yeah. So king takes bishop, queen takes knight. Well, it's check, and you're a piece down. So you probably got to go knight takes rook and two pieces for a rook. Yeah. Am I doing this right?
You're doing it right, but I don't think I did.
No, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong.
It's gone up the other way.
So knight takes rook. What's the move then?
Can you go queen h3 then?
I beg your pardon. That's very faint.
Can you go queen h3?
Ooh.
Oh yes.
Yes, that is rather.
I'm playing on Edinburgh here.
That's quite good, is it not?
Yes.
And we've got to move the f pawn somewhere. And white and black and well, I say we've got to. The computer doesn't seem to.
Lines are stronger as.
Yeah, this.
Oh, well, hang on. No. Is it? Are we dead? Cool.
It's still a slightly mental position, actually, isn't it? Well, okay. Let's take the rook. Is this right? Is it?
Darius, go first. Go on then.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's worth looking at because it's a forcing line. Yeah, I mean, the queen's attacked. We could possibly go there and pretend we're checkmating white, but I don't really see it. Or we could take the rook. So, yeah, that's also unpopular. I mean, white's got all sorts of choices here, of which the simplest is probably that. Okay, so what are we missing? Okay, what am I missing? How does black win here? Queen takes pawn, maybe? I don't know. What a strange position. This seems just such a calm advantage a few minutes ago. And,
I think I just missed queen h3.
Is queen takes pawn, queen takes bishop, I guess.
Yeah, I mean.
Why is this winning for black?
You just take the knight off and
yeah, just bring
your material.
Well, queen takes bishop, so something takes knight. Yeah, it doesn't like that.
So what about queen h1? Check.
Okay. Queen h1 check, king there.
Take the rook off.
Well, we tried that, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was busy.
How about queen h2 here, though?
Oh, come on.
No.
Okay, so what happens if knight takes knight? I mean, I can see it's quite frightening, but is this really a winning attack?
No.
For black?
I don't think it is. I wouldn't like to have to play it, but that's nothing to do with anything. Well, no, it isn't, is it?
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Daniel is a young man, you know, in the making. You know, he's.
I mean, it's a whole rook that Black sacrificed here. A whole rook. And I don't really. Oh.
Knight f5 is looking good.
Knight f5 looks good. Is bishop f3 check a clever move?
First, yeah.
Excuse me.
But then king e1.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh no, you've got
crafty.
queen g1.
That doesn't work.
Bishop
Well,
h3 check might be better.
Maybe. Well, my thought was if king there, that's mate.
Well, that,
Ah.
And you've got to protect the queen. That was the point. That was the point of f3.
you've got to come to
But if he
e3,
goes to e3, check.
knight f5, and the crowd are loving it.
King there. I don't know.
Okay, can I actually
d8
take?
check.
Can you take the bishop? You could have had. Is that it?
It's the queen's on.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So white isn't dead lost here.
Rook
It's
d8.
not great for him. Excuse me. But I can't see a finish for black here. I mean, black's regaining the rook at least, but then it looks like equal
Hang
material.
on, what about rook d8?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, crikey. Yeah,
That commentator is rubbish, you know.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
No?
That's it.
So knight d5, knight d5. We'll, what a position. I'm sure both players are analysing this position as we speak, but we have come a long way, but it was quite a forced line, I think. So the queens are opposing each other. Black's got to defend it. This, I don't know. I can't see this as being,
Players are losing.
yeah, really. Check, king takes queen, knight takes rook is possible, and we emerge a pawn up. What do we? Are we impressed by this analysis? Probably
Not much.
Okay.
We sweated buckets together.
This is very theoretical discussions. I doubt if this position will arise, but it was relatively forced. So sorry, let's look at queen h2 again. So knight takes knight. Black appears to have a win here. So my attempted cleverness failed. No surprise.
Oh.
Excuse me. While you think about that, I'll just go grab a glass of water. Sorry, chaps. Okay. Any suggestions here?
You're bringing the knight now.
Knight f5. That looks very strong. That does look very strong. So queen takes pawn check has to be a big threat. And also in the other line, you know, bishop f3 or bishop anywhere probably is a big threat because the king can only go to e1 here.
Come to b7 and take the knight if all else fails.
That's another thing. So we're hitting the rook. We're threatening mate. We're threatening mate or the queen with that, and we're threatening queen takes pawn check. Are we convinced?
Yes.
Yeah. Shall we go to the other games? Because we spent a lot of time on this one.
Yes.
If you could get Paul Bloom's game up, Colin, I think it's about to end.
He is Bloomy. Where's old Bloomy? Now, the first part of your sentence was if. So let's see what game it really brings up.
If.
The chat's still here. Is that it?
No.
Honestly.
Looks like an old
Oh, it's the second game. They're playing the second game already.
It did finish.
an old fashioned closed Sicilian.
Mark, can I make a request? Would you mind bringing up the Paul Bloom game? Sharing it, or do you want me to keep trying?
I am just about to share.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
if you that one. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen, everyone. Do you want me to go? You'll have to direct me, Paul. Do you want me to go back a few moves? Sorry, Colin.
Sorry, I can't see your screen yet. Shall I stop my share?
Sorry, no, go on. You should all be able to see it now.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry, Asanga, I didn't see your chat before. Yeah, I agree. The bishop on d3 does look a bit blocked. Okay, so Bloom is black, is he? Oops.
He is, unfortunately.
Okay, so, well, we've got the black queen defending h7 at the moment. But, yeah.
I don't think there is a but. Well,
no. Is the exchange up? Is that correct? Not counting pawns for the moment.
Yes.
yeah.
And white to play. Well, the first thought that comes to mind is to play rook to e1 to e7. And if that was allowed, it would end the game very quickly. So white's probably. Oh,
you did food, yeah.
He heard me.
You heard what you said, yeah.
Because he can't move his bishop really, can he, Paul? So it's like bishop b7 is no good, bishop d7 is no good.
Yeah, because that would break the communication with h7.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see a defense, to be honest. Well, maybe rook b7. Oh no, it only helps for one move, doesn't it? Because maybe rook b7.
Yes.
Because bishop takes rook, bishop takes bishop is check. Oh, he heard me too.
Or queen takes. Queen takes.
Yeah, or queen takes indeed. Yeah.
I didn't want to cut communication with h7, which is more important than just a random check if we can't.
It's quite sneaky, isn't it? Bishop.
I don't know how random the check is, James, because you've got the bishop and the queen on those diagonals. So where is the king going?
Sorry, yes. It's much better to keep the queen where she is.
It might be, yeah. But
no, I think
actually, is bishop takes rook not possible because of bishop takes bishop? Bishop takes rook, bishop takes bishop is almost mate. The only you can move pieces in the way.
Knight e4 in the way.
Yeah.
But
or rook e4, but that's a bit desperate, isn't it? Because it isn't as if white's checkmating black in return.
It is desperate though, isn't it? I think that's.
So yeah, maybe there's a bit of life in the game yet. Or quite a lot, who knows?
We just want something that spoils the party pooping.
What about queen h6 for white?
Queen h6.
Oh.
Okay.
That has a good ring to it, doesn't it?
Maybe rook d7. The idea of queen h6 was I was thinking if the rook moves to d8, for example, you've got knight f7, but queen h6, maybe rook g7 for black.
Well, queen h6, rook g7, maybe white has rook e7 on the grounds that rook takes rook allows queen takes rook mate.
Yeah.
So actually, can we put that on the analysis board? If you, in fact, you know your way around chess.com better than I do. So
looking for it.
I think it's I think it's that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, live analysis.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry with the problems I had on my session not showing the right game.
Right, it's reverted the board. Can I? How do I flip it?
It's quite acceptable.
It's probably as that circular anti-clockwise arrow. Oh no, it isn't. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, suddenly.
Try. Yeah, don't know.
Okay. Now.
Well, we can. Well, we are black, aren't we?
Yeah. I actually think because it's not showing everything, but I believe the game has probably ended. I noted Paul had 30 seconds. And maybe Paul couldn't find a defense and lost on time rather than I would have thought he wouldn't have resigned, would he? He would have just crashed the move out.
I think queen h6 is a very strong move here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't understand. No, he wouldn't have lost on time, Paul, would he? If I wonder where the clock's gone. Can I maybe get rid of the analysis board so we can see the clock?
Well, there it is.
Oh, sorry, my game's gone. I'm really sorry. Let's go back in.
That's not just me then. It makes me feel
I'm really sorry. It's like I've lost it now. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, not to worry. Okay.
Let's try it again.
Mm.
It just seems to be a
Well,
long.
it was quite good. We could just look at random games. And,
It's whatever game it picks, isn't it? You
it
just
really
select
is.
one.
Really is.
And,
Okay.
and we're now on the second game. Is it worth just quickly trying to show the results for everybody?
Yes, good idea.
Yes, how are we doing, team?
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing the results here. It's only showing that Daniel's game resulted in a win so far. Let's see if I can just do that. Yeah,
Oh,
there
well
we
done.
go.
Okay.
It's got a cumulative score at the top, so
Well,
Camberley
excellent. So Camberley ahead at the moment. Yeah. All right.
with
And
4
it's
results.
fairly evenly matched, isn't it, rating-wise? I'd say,
Yeah.
give or take. Are we doing? Actually, we're doing better on the lower boards. It has to be said.
It'd be nice to get one of these other 2 games up maybe and see as they approach the end.
Yeah. Well, Paul's game was interesting, wasn't it? And Clive's game might be interesting, but we'll probably never know.
There you go. I'm clicking on Paul's game and it's coming up with this one. This is
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, we can blame the software, Colin. It's
Well,
it's
yeah.
definitely not you. It's doing it to me as well. I'll just click on Clive and I'll probably get somebody else's game. I'm getting Rob's game and I'm getting his second game. So
Okay.
which is a slot.
All right. Well, it's just started. Yeah.
Do we just stick
Go
with
back. Do you want me to just hand back to you then?
But by all means, yeah, sure.
Because I'm not coming up with anything, and if I do, I will shout out. It'd be lovely to see some of these other games right at the end.
Do play chess online. Okay, so welcome to the commentating on a random game session. So let's. I'll click there and see where it takes me. Okay, well, we're in the second game, obviously. So this is Daniel's second game. I think he won the first game, didn't he?
Yes.
It would be interesting to see how that game concluded. But that might be a bit. Hopefully, we'll get players joining afterwards, and we can see these things. So this is the second game. So I went through that far too quickly. Sicilian defence, closed variation. White doesn't play the normal knight f3 and d4, instead opting for a quieter but still very effective setup. And it almost looks a bit like a reverse King's Indian, where in the King's Indian, black tries e5 and f5, and white's try and get from the start. And black responds in the centre. Okay.
Colin, at any point, if you want me to, let's say, go back into the old games, that seems to be quite easy to pick those games up. So, for example, right now, if you would like, I could show you the last few games of Daniel.
That would be great. No, I think that would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're really in the opening stage here, so and that's probably true for most of the newer games. So it would be nice to see one game to a conclusion at least.
Okay. And just tell me which when you can see the screen.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we'd left it just when Daniel was about to play bishop takes g7. So I think you're at the right point.
Yeah, just going back a bit. So there you go. Bishop takes h3. Bishop takes g7.
Yeah, so it's got to rotate the bishop on g7. So okay, so the black squared bishops have gone, which leaves a nice big hole on f6 for the white pieces. And this is a very quick mate threat. Knight f6 followed by queen h6 will mate black very quickly. It's a very strong threat. So he's so he's allowed it. So what am I missing?
Yes.
King h8. So what's wrong with queen h6?
Nothing.
Oh, queen h3. He's got queen h3. I beg your pardon. It didn't. Yeah, king takes bishop. Good move by Daniel. c5. Now queen h6. I think is
more powerful than the execution.
Yeah. So a cheeky, a cheeky check. You might ask, well, why didn't he go to b7? I guess the point, if Daniel lazily moved his king away, then queen takes f6 would be embarrassing. Oh,
he took it.
But Daniel,
Yes.
Oh, of course, it's chess. Yes, yeah,
unfortunately, Daniel was awake. It would be,
yes.
yeah. Okay, a sudden finish then.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looked like a very, very strong position for Daniel all throughout the game. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that.
Okay, back
Yeah,
to you,
thank you.
Colin.
Do we want to look at one of the other games, or
Well,
oh,
yeah.
What
let
about
me,
Clive's game? We never got.
okay,
That would
yeah.
depend on if I am friends with
Yeah.
Clive. So
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah, give it a go. I am a friend with Clive because as I checked earlier.
Yeah, I've just sent him a request, so I can't.
Okay,
I
fair
can't see
enough.
his.
I'll
No, I
show-
can't see. I can't see his game.
Oh, he's won.
Yeah, I can only see this one from December the 16th. I don't know why I can't see.
That'll be a finished one. Okay, fair enough. I'll.
Yeah, I'm seeing another.
Shall I try it here? Because I'm
yes.
pretty sure I'm a friend of his. So unless I just sent a. Yeah. Sorry, I'm stopping your screen share there rather rudely. Okay, so let's
Back with Daniel.
yeah, that was Daniel's. Let's close that one. I'll try Clive Frost it, but honestly, it is being random. Okay, we've got Julian's game. Shall we have a quick look at this, or keep on trying randomly to get Clive's game? It's worth it. It does look slightly mental position. So Julian is also going for a closed Sicilian. This time,
No, this is not a close Sicilian.
you're quite right. It is a.
It's this new thing which hasn't got. John would know the name of it, but
Yeah, if I say to Mark Taylor that this is a Grand Prix attack on the grounds that that F4 often comes, then he tells me off something rotten. I think he knows the name for it, but he's not on the call, so that's a fairly piece of useless information.
it's very trendy. But forgive me, I don't know. Well, I think there's a tape on it or something. It's. But
Yeah, I think Gawain Jones used to play this a lot.
That's it. It's in the coffee. It's in the coffee.
And the Coffee House Repertoire, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
so the two books that have come out.
Okay.
Yeah, you're quite right.
Right there, trying to shift the bishop, which is ignored. Knight takes bishop. Oh, this is how this happened. So, in some ways, it looks like Black's won the two bishops for free. But on the other hand, Black's development isn't that much to write home about at the moment. So, I don't know theoretically if I thought this was supposed to be not that good for Black, but it isn't an opening I play with either colour. And so, bishop there. Both sides develop sensibly. Julian opens it up, presumably on the grounds that he's slightly ahead in development. Oh, he goes for it. Okay, so Julian's starting to push back around a bit. I guess the long-term prospects are with Black. He's got the two bishops. No great weaknesses in his position at the moment. Not completely clear what he's going to do with his in the centre though, Black. So maybe Julian's doing pretty well. The analysis part has shot up again. So we're a rook up again, chaps. So our job now is to try and work out why how much we trust the computer and why this is so good for White. I think
It certainly is. It looks.
Oh, there's a couple of
Knight to d6.
Knight d6 check looks extremely tempting, does it not?
Yeah.
It does look extremely tempting. So let's put
And good night,
analysis board up.
Would you not just play King F8? And obviously you don't take the knight.
So knight there, check. Well, what happens if we do take it? Just for completeness.
For old time's sake.
Just for old time's sake. Check. Okay, I think there's a nice move that White has here. Who can tell me?
Bishop 8.
Bishop h6.
Bishop, yeah.
Yeah.
This looks nice. So
Julian's
bishop
not
takes
gonna miss
bishop
that.
with his mate. The only vaguely feasible defense I can see to that is that, which just looks awful. Oh, we're just playing bishop takes bishop check, aren't we, in rook e7?
Mm.
And then the queen, and then the F pawn drops wherever the king goes. I don't think it matters that much. With advantage for white, I think.
Get it.
It's going to be checkmate soon. Oh, queen f8. I don't know. Queen f8. If nothing else, queen there, and we'll win the queen. So again, black's development not that great. So knight d6 check can't be taken. So what about Mark's irritating king f8 move? What do we do there? That spoils the party a bit.
Can we play bishop g5 to justify leaving the knight on d6? Just for
That looks like a very good move to me.
photo.
Yeah, I'm just
Photogenic, but
yeah, no, it looks a good move.
how can you expect?
So if bishop g5, then h6.
Yeah.
Queen f4. You can't take the knight. I don't know. Still, you know, in a real game, I'd still be wondering, oh, is this really winning or not? So f6.
Pawn takes pawn.
Yeah, pawn takes pawn. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. This looks so awful. You just want it to be completely lost for black at every possible point. I think rook e8 is mundane, but good enough. Yeah. So I suspect that Julian is thinking queen takes rook, knight takes queen, pawn takes bishop, knight takes pawn. Yeah, it's just too much, and the attack continues after king takes knight rook there. So I suspect that Julian is very seriously considering knight d6 check here. And he's an attacking player.
Yeah, he will play that. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
It's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go back into the actual board. And it's taken me to a different game. I just honestly, chaps, I despair.
Wow.
Well, we're seeing the live moves. It's Paul playing black. He has been playing the Grunfeld. Yeah, he normally plays the Grunfeld. So I am okay. Very much the opening stage. Let's try and find Julian's game again, or Clive's, because we haven't seen Clive at all yet.
Colin, would you like to see the end of, if you don't find Clive, the end of Martin's first game?
Yes, please. Yeah, please bring it up, and I'll try and find relevant games here. Yeah, please do. Yeah, it's just.
We're still with the Grunfeld.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to. Okay, excellent. So
I think this is where we left it before. White played, pushed on with c5.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's
Yeah.
Okay, Martin goes for it without pushing the h pawn. It's kind of see why, really.
ooh.
Well, okay. So sorry, can you hold it there? What's yeah, there.
What
What's the material? It's is black a rook up?
Yes.
It's a whole rook, isn't it?
Mere bagatelle.
I mean, White's got the pawns, two connected pass pawns for it. So yeah, White lost the exchange on f1, and then he gave up a piece on a6 in order to get the two connected pass pawns. Okay. So yeah, the attack continues. Yeah, nice play, Martin.
I think that's very nice play. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really, that could be the game of the day.
Yep, no, just a very convincing kingside attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, White's play needs to be a few moves quicker, didn't it, on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Very nice.
I'll hand back to you, Colin.
Okay, thank you.
And you're not sharing at the moment.
No,
so-
I'm not. I'm
How
But
so?
I will try and see if there's an.
yeah.
Another game
If
that I can
you
play.
can get that, well, yeah. See, yeah. Perhaps just look and see if you get something interesting. It's so
Oh,
anyway. Clive, it's a chance to look at Clive Frostick's games anyway. He's a good player, so he's white, playing against the Sicilian defence.
Oh.
The queen swap offered and accepted. So Clive, he's a very strong player in almost all aspects of the game. And when you're playing him, you don't know if he wants to exploit a small endgame advantage against you or just to checkmate you or whatever. And he's quite capable of doing them both. So it's quite interesting that he adopts a very early queen swap in this line, though. I'm guessing it's theoretical. So what can we say? Equal material. White does have a sneaky threat of knight c4 to b6, which black can cover easily enough by putting a knight on b7.
or knight b5 in one hit.
Or knight b5 is a direct threat in one hit. You're quite right. And a6 doesn't defend against it either.
No.
Or not much.
Okay. Well,
So
it doesn't. You just come. You've done knight forks with Mike Basman. You go to c7 with check.
okay, is that what Mike Basman does?
Well, for juniors that don't know check, you know,
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
pins.
It looks like a tricky line. And black's covering c7. And I guess his point that if bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop, the knight can't go to b5 anymore. And black's got an open line against the rook. It's one of those positions. It's always a question: should I take the knight and ruin the black pawn structure, but given the open b file and the two bishops, or not? And the answer is usually no. You shouldn't do it. But it does depend on each position. I'd be a bit surprised if he did play bishop takes a6 though.
Can you play knight c4 and prepare it, or was that?
Sorry, knight c4 and prepare. Oh,
Well, I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's me apologizing to you. I was just wondering if you could blockade it and.
So I was surprised it's allowed me to put knight c4 on the board. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this knight isn't particularly tremendous on a6. It must be said. You know, so you might just want to leave it there really, and develop your pieces where you wanted it to.
Yeah,
White's kind of got two pieces competing for the c4 square. So Clive's got to decide if he wants to put the knight there or the bishop. And the knight might be usefully rerouted to c2, support d4 and knight e3 or something.
it might combine well with a kingside fianchetto by Clive.
Yeah, that's another interesting idea.
Pressure.
Yep. So an interesting position and a very tricky one. It'll be interesting to see how that game pans out. Anyway, very much in the open.
Colin?
Yeah.
Can I just give you a tip? What I found is that, you know, so for example, if I say I want to watch Paul's game, Paul Sloan, I click on Paul and it brings up Rob again. And what I found then is if I click on the refresh button in the top left corner, it then brings up the game I want.
The browser refresh?
Yes.
Aha, okay. Let me try that then. So whose game did we want? We wanted to look at Julian's, didn't we?
Yeah.
See if he played knight d6. So playing.
And click
Okay,
on that.
so that's the Clive. So if I hit refresh, Okay,
Oh.
still Clive.
Apologies. Try again, but it worked. It worked. It just worked for me, and that's how I got Paul's game. So sorry.
Which browser are you? Oh, this one. Let's try this one.
Yeah, that's what I'd.
Yeah. Sorry, I hit F5. Who knows? I think it's pseudo random. This has brought up Clive again. This is frustrating, and I apologise to the observers for this. But, okay, let's try.
I will see if I can get to Julian's game doing what I've just said.
Okay, cool. That'd be great. Okay, well, I'll try a different game. Just
Yeah, let's see Daniel's second.
let's try that trick anyway with the refresh. Let's close all of the extraneous windows.
No, apologies, Colin. It just seems to just keep repeating Paul's game to me.
Okay.
Maybe that was just a random good luck that I got the game I wanted.
Okay, now the other thing I noticed in the live analysis board is that we see this stuff at the bottom. And is that a way of getting to the games? Oh, what's this?
That's
Okay, that is Julian's game. So we stopped it at this position before. Okay.
Brilliant.
So am I in an analysis board, by the way, or not? Who cares? So Julian indeed played knight d6 check.
the crowd went
Right.
wild.
And knight e4. So he didn't try bishop g5. It's all right for us to play these moves and think they're fantastic, but he might have seen something against it. Bishop g5, f6 immediately, maybe. Oh, no, we looked at that, didn't we? Okay. Well, he played knight e4. Okay, the eval bar's gone down, so still to quite a high window, but you can kind of see why he does that. He plays knight e4, and he's still got a great position. You know, black's king is stupid, and black's development is awful. So, you know, it's either play a safe move and have a pretty good advantage, or spend a long time looking for a forced win, which you don't know is there. So black's still under the cosh here. So queen c7 occurred. Julian defends the pawn on c2 by just by advancing it. Knight c4. I guess black is desperately trying to get his bishop developed by playing b6 or d6. And if he plays d6, he might also swap one or two of white's pieces off.
I think he's really been caught napping.
I agree. Yeah.
I think through no fault of his own, perhaps he just didn't know the opening, the move order.
Yeah, I think you're right. So knight c5. Okay, which attacks the knight on c4. Goes to e5. Okay.
And a good game of
Not sure what's happening here.
beating your neighbour.
Well, actually, the knight is probably quite good on c6, which it gets to with tempo. So knight a5 is a well-motivated move. I guess the only alternative to it, well, knight b6 is just putting it back where it was a few moves ago, where it was awful. I guess he could have tried b5 and then got to get the bishop out, but it looks unconvincing. So bishop f4, over protecting the pawn.
Oh,
Knight back, queen there. Okay, and we can see that, you know, white's made progress. He's got his bishop out, and black's still struggling to see what he can do with all his pieces on the back rank. Knight a5 again.
well, again.
Oh, that just loses the queen. Yeah, that's game over. Yeah,
Oh,
and that happened on the board.
well, that's not an easy one to spot anyway, is it? Well, I don't know.
You'd see that in a flash. So it was a grim position for black. Obviously, knight a5 is an outright blunder and doesn't really help. But I mean, you've got to try b6, haven't you?
I think b6, if only to is struggling for oxygen.
Yeah.
I think that's a good win by Jude.
This is a good win by Julian.
No,
Knight g5, it looks quite an impressive threat as well. you've got to defend by e6, and that creates another hole on d6, which either of the knights can hop into. Yeah, good game by Julian.
Yes.
Okay, let us try
Daniel?
Yeah, let's try Daniel. Why not? So Daniel
Oh my
is
God.
black in this game. Oh my God, is exactly right. So yeah, we stopped it at this position, didn't we? Daniel had decided to retreat his knight to g8 rather than d7. And I think that white could try queen g4 here and get that pawn to move, but knight f3, obviously a sensible move. h5. Okay, so what Daniel's point is he's going to play g6, knight h6, and park his knight on f5 or g4, which is why he retreated the knight to g8 rather than to there, where there's a little bit of a traffic jam. So he doesn't bother with g6 until he has to. h4, interesting move. I mean, to my eyes, that looks as if it just leaves the hole on g4.
That looks like a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, if he was worried about h4, which he probably should be, at least after the knight moves, he should probably play h3, and then in order to meet h4 with g4. But still, h4, very solid. Knight f5, immediately hitting the weakness on g3. Knight defends it.
We're more or less in the realm of a French defence now.
It does look like a French
Yeah.
defence, yeah, having played the French defence for many years myself. So white decides it's worth, okay, I mean, in this position, white's best minor piece is really this bishop.
Yeah, but
This bishop doesn't have massive prospects. If the knights aren't terrible, if one of them could get there, but they're not really actively posted at the moment. This knight is probably black's best minor piece, but I think giving up the bishop for it is risky, to say the least, because this bishop will become very powerful, I think. But we will see. But again, hard for black to break through all this carapace. It's not easy.
Oh,
Bishop there, king there, queen there. Daniel goes for it. He's smells blood on the long diagonal, and it's he centralizes the queen, and it's hard for white to shift it. If he tries c4, pawn takes pawn, well, he could try c4, but I think pawn takes pawn just weakens his d pawn a bit too much. Knight eg1. Okay. So an interesting position, I think. Black can be happy, but he's got to find a way of breaking through, I think.
what a lovely position.
Who for?
No, but just as a spectator,
Yeah.
I'm filled with admiration. I'm glad I came.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, well, that's very rarely said about any position I get. So,
Well, yes, there is that about it. Yes.
This is a sort of a theme in a lot of my games. I have the advantage, or I think I have the advantage, but then I don't have a clue how to proceed.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure we've all experienced that. And I'm looking at this position, and as I've said, I do prefer black's position, but I'm struggling to sort of translate that into actual moves on the board, and to suggest what he will play. We can castle either side, but how do we break through, and where do we break through? Should we play for g5 on the king side, which I suspected Daniel was saying yes, as he's castle queen side, or should we look to advance, or should we have castle king side, advance our pawns on the queen side? And I don't know the answer. It's
Colin, could I just interrupt to
please.
say that Julian has just joined. So
Excellent.
Congratulations, Julian. We just showed the end of your game live. So quite like the the discovered attack on the queen, following the check. So yeah, good game, Julian.
It's a bit lucky.
It wasn't that lucky.
No, come on.
But he just left his queen on freeze. I mean, you know, trying to build an attack.
Yeah, okay, but your position was quite nice at that point. It was a grim position to defend.
Yeah.
We were doing some pub analysis. Well, not of us in the pub, but you know what I mean. And we were trying to sacrifice all your pieces as usual after King F8. We were looking at Bishop G5. I don't know if that's a move you considered. And then maybe Queen F4 afterwards. I thought the way you played it was very good actually, because he was always under the cough.
Bishop F5.
I think was it James who suggested that?
It was.
So
Well,
I'm going to push myself forward too much.
He can walk out of the pin. You can play the same as the game, Queen C7. I mean, I was hoping to put a knight on G5. I didn't really want to play Bishop G5.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I thought I'd just
Yeah, after Queen F4, maybe you can actually take the knight. I mean,
that's a bit well.
Yeah, but I don't think
Queen's on freeze. Bishop E7.
Queen somewhere random. Yeah, it looks awful, doesn't it? To be honest, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, no, that was good. So you did actually play King F8. Why is Bishop G5 still there? Is that because this is in?
I thought I could have played instead of playing C3. I was thinking I could have played Bishop G5.
Oh, okay, yeah, but
Yeah,
your position was so good, I guess that.
Yeah, but isn't the whole point that once Black can't castle, he was caned?
he's just got nothing. He's got no pieces developed apart from his knight and by the bishop. But he can't do anything.
I seem to be in the analysis board rather than the actual game. Anyway,
Yeah,
it was a nice game. Yeah, it was a nice game, Julian. I mean, you know, at the end he lost by a blunder, but it really wasn't obvious what good moves he had available.
I wasn't sure whether I could have won the first game.
Okay, we've been having trouble actually selecting games. We click on a game and then it gives us a random game. So, did you win the first game?
No, drew in the end. Very difficult trying to squeeze a win out of a rook and pawn ending.
Okay, and well, okay. Is it something you want to show us? Is it worth a look? Or?
You can go through if you haven't seen it. Yeah, it's worth. It's a bit of a long. Yeah, I don't know. You can go. Something to look at.
We saw.
Okay, tell you what. We've obviously got live games on at the moment. So if it's a long one, maybe look at it a bit later if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if we can get it in. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at Cod Banana. So where are we? Camberley player is Black. Did we see any of this game? I think we saw the opening few moves, didn't we?
It's the first one. Is this the second game?
Yes, it's the Grunfeld of
This is the second game.
Paul's. Is it Paul's Grunfeld?
Yeah. So very well, one of the main lines, Bishop C4 and Knight E2. Still played a lot, though perhaps less fashionable than it was. Knight A5, B6. So in a lot of Grunfeld lines, Black's quite happy to give up a pawn. But White can play D takes C5, winning a pawn here, and in fact he does. But Black gets a lot of counterplay for it. An alternative is to play Queen C7 and allow White to take there, but Paul goes for it this way. Yeah.
Woo. Oh.
It's interesting. Okay. So E5, kind of, well, not totally forced. Black certainly doesn't want to swap off bishops and let White correct his pawns. E5 does cut this bishop out a little bit, but on the other hand, Black's got pretty easy development at the moment. So Black's got pressure against the C pawn. Black has a pawn down, But he's got pressure against the c pawn. He might bring in the knight there, and his bishop can come out. I don't particularly like this pawn blocking the black bishop though. Bishop e6.
Well, how else would you address the threat of exchanging bishops then?
That's a good question. I think if it were me, I might have. It doesn't really answer the question though, does it? Pawn bishop, pawn queen there, bishop there. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be completely honest. I mean, you could allow the bishops to be exchanged. Maybe play rook d8. Oops, it does that. Anyway, bishop e6. You do get these positions where some grandmaster says black's got ample compensation, and you think, well, is that really true? Knight c4. So white's keeping his extra pawn. Paul's threatening to recapture it more or less immediately. Bishop takes knight, queen takes c3. There. Which he could have done.
Yeah, and then the rook comes to d7.
Rook comes to d7, but
That's pretty quite lively, isn't it? So
no, I don't want to upgrade right now. Sorry, what happened there? Maybe Paul just thought it would lose all of the tension in the position if he did that. So it simplifies it out to a position with equal material where white's bishop is slightly better. As James said, white can bring the... Oh, no, he can't because the rook drops.
I knew that, really. I was just checking to see if you spotted it.
But, well, say he plays rook c1 then he's going to get one of the rooks to the 7th, isn't he? Safely. White's a bit better here, isn't he? It's a question of symmetrical pawns, but black doesn't really have any active play, so it's kind of a question is, can black withstand the slight pressure that white's got? Probably could, but it's not a pleasant position to play. So Paul, probably correctly, just plays to
neutral
to keep the position alive. Yeah.
Yes.
b1, very well. d8. Now, so Paul's been very casual about his pawn. I mean, white's extra pawn, the c pawn, is doing not very much at the moment.
Couldn't you have played f5?
Who? Black, here.
Yeah, instead of rook f8.
Okay.
Instead of rook d8. Just play f5 here.
f5, okay. It's an active move, isn't it? And you're threatening to keep pushing it, aren't you, really?
Well, yeah, keep pushing.
Or at least push it once, maybe.
Maybe if you push it to f3,
Yeah.
he's got to take it.
Yeah.
Just a quick score update, everyone. At the end of the first set of games, Camberley were down, I think it was 4.5 to 3.5.
Okay, we're leading 2.5, 1.5, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it's Camberley 6.5 versus Edinburgh 5.5. Daniel has just won,
Okay.
and obviously Julian won, and Rob, who lost the first game, won the second game, and Paul unfortunately lost the second game. So Camberley won ahead with 1, 2, 3, 4 games in progress.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good update. Yeah. So
it's nice that it's an even contest. Otherwise, you could say, well, for all the effort that was being made, it wasn't worth playing because they were too strong, or we were too weak, or what you will.
Yeah. You don't want it too one-sided.
No, you don't.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good match. Yeah. Yeah. So in this position, I agree. This is definitely a more active way to play it, isn't it? From White's perspective, from Black's perspective. I beg your pardon.
Anyway.
So anyway, he went for this. Just getting his pawn off breeze, if that's a word. Oh, does that work?
Ooh.
That looks completely winning, doesn't it?
Bloody hell. I didn't, a bolt from the blue.
Just an oversight, was it?
Yeah, you don't make them. Well, I don't.
No, he should have just played rook d1, I guess, white.
Mm.
Oh, is this where we are? He didn't. Did you say Paul lost this?
Paul is still playing.
He's still playing. This is
I
the
don't
live
think he's
position.
resigned. I'm just going
Okay.
to. Yeah, still playing.
Okay, good. Let's see how Daniel won that game then, because I said it was far too complicated.
Hang on, in that position,
Oh, by timeout. So, sorry, I'll go back to. Sorry, James. Where is it?
I'm just being thick, but I just wondered if, rather than having blundered the exchange, can't you just pin it?
No, because the queen's on praise. Open it with what though? With the rook.
The rook.
Bishop takes
Let's
queen.
take the queen.
Rook takes queen. Check. Rook takes rook.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
you
the whole
end up
piece.
a rook down.
Sorry, I'm not very good at these. Yeah, okay.
It's yeah, the white queen's unprotected, but black's is protected, so he gets away with it.
Yeah.
So okay, so black's an exchange up, and it's still going to be some work to win that though. Obviously, black's favourite though. So okay, let's have a look at this Daniel game. We left it. Where did we leave it? Just after he played queen d5, I think.
Yeah, lovely.
Oh no, just after he castled, in fact. Okay. So how did he win in 2 more moves? Oh, it was we won by timeout.
Castles.
So c4, and he lost by that. That's unfortunate. You don't like to see. It said somewhere on the screen. Can't find it now. That white won on time. Is that the same as timeout? I don't know.
Oh, black one on time.
Sorry, black won on time. It said on timeout when I went in there. Does that mean on time, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So white's under pressure here, but certainly not.
He's got knight g5.
Knight g5, yeah. Well, can you do that?
Oh,
So,
that looks a bit.
very committal.
That looks very iffy. I'd like to take
That's a
queen.
move. If you're short of time,
is.
you've got to find a move.
Bishop takes knight.
Oh, I wanted to play a discovery with my knight.
Well, so do I. But I want,
Yeah, then you got to check.
Yeah, whose side are you on, Colin?
It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get that pawn protected or not attacked.
Okay, so that moves at knight g5.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, Rocky Roller has just lost the second game, so scores are currently tied at 6.5 each.
Ooh, ooh. So let's see
I'm
how
on
Clive's
the
doing in his. Oh my goodness, we've got this going on.
Who's this?
This is Clive against
Oh, Clive.
Clive
Okay, let's
Frostley
see this.
against Frederick the Mate.
Or Frederick Gordon, I think it is.
Okay. So, castles. So yeah, it's one of these positions which looks sort of more or less innocuous, but you face a strong player and it's very easy to go down. Okay. So Clive's given up his B pawn. And what does he get in return?
Open file.
Sorry?
He's got an open file.
He's got the open file. He's still
Yeah.
attacking this pawn, by the way.
I think he's going to win material back, but it's
Yeah, and if A6, let's get the analysis. Have I got the analysis board open?
He can't play a6.
Yeah, you can't play A6 because knight C7.
Knight c7 and rook b8, bishop b8a7.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's nice.
nice.
Got to he gets the pawn back.
Yeah, so I was hoping to put that on the board, but it hates me. Isn't there knight takes pawn right there? So he's definitely getting the pawn back, and he grabs it immediately. So in pawn structure terms, obviously white's 2-1 up on the queen side versus 4 against 3 on the queen side. In terms of pieces, well, both players' pieces look pretty active. The bishop's slightly blocked by the pawn at the moment, but you know that could change quite quickly. So to sum it up, I don't have a clue who's better here. I think it's a very tricky position, if that helps.
Certainly does.
Okay, so this happened. Crikey. I'm just a bit surprised that that works, but it seems to. There, so both players sort of just trying to put their pieces on optimum squares, and Clive attacks the pawn, which is which is indefensible. So Clive just won a pawn here. A clever piece play. So it looks like these two pawns are just connected past pawns with advantage to white. Okay, so was that all forced?
I don't think that can come as too much of a surprise, can it? I mean, I thought white had more activity before it crystallized.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. It's just, I don't know. And the pawn's not attacked at the moment. Is knight a5 or knight a5 might be a threat to win the pawn. Bishop c8 protects it, I suppose, but looks awfully passive. Anyway, this happened, and I suspect after f3, I don't know. Hang on, rotate. So I'm just trying to work out how this happened.
Concede.
Bishop e6 might have been a waste of time. Knight a5, you're hitting the pawn and the knight. So I think bishop e6 was a mistake, but it might have been hard to hold on to that pawn anyway. So yeah, pretty strong play by Clive, I think. And the computer reckons it's half a pawn advantage for white, or thereabouts. And it looks a lot more than that to me. I mean, I'd no doubt mess it up, but we are a pawn up, aren't we? Okay, interesting position. So who else haven't we looked at recently?
I've just finished my game, Colin, and won.
Oh, well done, well done. Why didn't I come up with that? Let's have a look. Was it a long game, Martin, or quite short?
It was. I had 8 minutes left, and my opponent had 2. So.
Sorry, I meant in terms of number of moves.
Oh, okay. Gosh, how many moves? Yeah, it was quite long. I can't remember how many moves. It was 60 moves.
Okay. Yeah, well done. No, the reason I'm asking is that I've been having difficulty. You select one game and it displays another. So okay. I was perhaps going to ask people to. I don't know how much of that game we saw. The second one, your second one. It was a nice. We did like your attack in the first game, Martin. Well played in that one.
Yeah, that worked well. King's Indian attack.
It really was, and you played it nicely, very nicely.
Yeah, so well done, Martin, and that takes the score to 7.5 in 6.5 in Camberley's favour.
So what games are left?
The top 2 boards, Clive and Paul.
So those are the only live games, yeah.
So
okay. Well, we've just had
I'm sure you've looked at them. Can we look at them again?
Absolutely. So this
and we're also just joined by Andrew. Andrew Smith has just joined, just to let you know.
Hi there.
Andrew, hello.
I got absolutely crushed. I don't know who I was playing, but he completely outplayed me all the way through.
And we were just saying you shouldn't be on board for, but it sorts it by chess.com.
I didn't know Andrew was playing.
Well, I regret the fact I was.
Can't you just pretend, Andrew, that Rocky Roller is somebody else? Because I think that's the thing.
We got the wrong one. Yeah. I'm sorry we couldn't see your games, Andrew, because we're not friends on chess.com, so I can't see your live games.
I couldn't. I did actually try to do it, but it's not something I use. I was a bit.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, if you're in a game, you don't want to be faffing about the user interface trying to get it to work.
Have you not shown any of those games, Colin? Then? Or
No. It was pretty well most of the games we have got to.
We just didn't have Andrews.
Yeah,
But you haven't had Andrew's games.
just Andrews. Yeah.
Okay.
So between us,
Andrew,
Can he show us now then?
yeah, Andrew, in your messages, you should have a request for a friend from Colin. If you click it, then Colin can then look at your games.
Well, it came and then it disappeared. I tried to do something with it and it disappeared. So I couldn't.
It's all right, Andrew. I understand if you don't want to be my friend. I won't read anything into it.
I'm a bit selective.
Just casual acquaintance, I would have said. But
It's a common problem Colin has.
Yeah. Why aren't you playing, or were you playing?
No, I wasn't playing it. I'm
commentating.
yeah, I'm commentating. I'm not that keen. I play Blitz online, but I'm not that keen on the longer games online. I don't know why.
I tend to show your opinion after that game.
And
Well,
just
yeah.
going back to this game, Colin, it looks like Paul is starting to convert this now.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. So Paul managed to win an exchange. He did sacrifice a pawn in the opening and got some play for it. Won the exchange, and here we are.
Way ahead on time.
So yeah. So why don't we take the seat?
Oh, good God, yes.
He's going to win on time anyway, isn't he?
He's only got 27 seconds. Is that what that is?
Yeah, but it's 10 seconds increment, of course. And my last game, I got the guy down to a few seconds for about 10 moves. But then we played about 5-6 moves in a row. And of course, he then had a minute or two.
Yeah. I mean, this looks good for that, doesn't it? I mean, Queen Tate, what's wrong with Queen Tate's pawn?
Yeah.
And without trying to increase the excitement, to win here would win Camberley the match.
No pressure, Paul.
In fact, a draw would win us the match, but maybe we shouldn't. Maybe Paul.
Good commentating, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. Sorry, this is
Clive's game.
Excuse me. This is Clive's game. And he won a pawn with some very nice play, some very nice piece play. And Black is also playing. Well, he's certainly he's confusing me. I don't know if he's confusing Clive.
I think we've been using too many problem solving with, Jonathan Levitt last week or whatever. It looks like
it does. So it's just to open up his bishop onto this pawn.
How many bishops can we get on the same diagonal, James?
Well, yes.
Only 3.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got a nice piece formation. So I don't know. All of the minor pieces. Well, some of the minor pieces just seem to be loose somehow. So like the knights and stuff.
They can't be attacked easily.
I can see a threat for Black. Black's threatening bishop takes b5, cb, rook takes a7, knight takes a7, or check.
Blimey. Yes, very good.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you, AP Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not win, but it's
Well, you'd play it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Rook takes e4 stops that.
Yeah.
You have the B pawn.
What's wrong with rook takes e4?
Or just bishop takes b2, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need to try and preserve the pawns if we.
No, don't upgrade. Okay. Oh, he's played b4 whilst I was closing that pop up.
So he can play that tactic now if he wants to.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing White can do about it, is there?
So, Colin, you're able to move the pieces around during the game.
I have to go into analysis board to do that.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I'm with you. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, if I try and do it on the actual board game, it's
wouldn't work.
It's pretty horrible.
We thought you had supernatural powers. You just will the pieces.
Well, if I do, they don't transfer to chess.com, unfortunately. supernatural power. Isn't what's
Can
happening
I,
here,
can I
Andrew?
just break in with some breaking news? And as soon as Paul
Please.
Sloan has just joined.
Oh,
maybe
excellent,
Paul,
excellent.
Maybe Paul would like to tell us.
Oh,
something.
there's the 1-0 there. So let's just see how it
So we've won.
ended.
Congratulations, Paul.
Time.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Paul.
Camberley
Very
have just
interesting game.
won the match.
Yeah, very good.
So what happened on the other boards? I can't see that. Well, how do you see? Oh, look, I recognise that position. Yeah. God, this is complicated.
I should think you do.
You click on the Camberley tab at the top of your screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, what you can do is you get to this screen, which tells you. Oh, it doesn't. No, it doesn't tell you the scores.
Should
It
do.
does. There's a Camberley tab.
On the Camberley tab, I just get info and upcoming events and nothing.
No, on the Camberley tab next to the game tab.
I'm just going to share my screen and show the
Okay.
results to everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so you can see currently 8.5, 6.5 in Camberley's favour, with Clive and Frederick's game still outstanding.
So
Okay.
Paul got 1.5, Julian got 1.5, and our board 1 player who's relegated to board 4 seems to have lost both games. I don't know what happened there. And
Martin
then
won 2.
I won 2, Rob's won 1, Paul Bloom has lost both, it looks like, and Daniel's won both. Very good, Daniel.
Yeah,
brilliant.
good games by Daniel.
Quite a tight match.
It's
Yeah, it
very
was a tight match.
closely-
And
closely
here is
graded match.
here is Daniel just joining. So congratulations, Daniel, for your
Well
three
done,
wins.
Daniel.
You can stay up a bit later.
Yeah.
You can treat yourself to a packet of crisps, Daniel.
Where is he?
Hi.
Hi,
There you
Daniel.
are.
Well
Well,
done.
Daniel, well played.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop the sharing and back to you, Colin.
Okay. Oh God, I think I've lost the.
Yeah, you won't be sharing it.
I mean,
So, Andrew, you must have had a fairly significant opponent, even though his grade wasn't that significant. Am I right?
Well, I don't know who he was, but he played really well. He just actually completely outplayed me. I can't really.
Andrew,
he was a good player, whoever he was.
Yeah, I know his nickname was Scott's Geek, but his real name is Ian Lauder, spelt Lauder.
And what's his over the board grade? I just wonder whether he was getting some assistance.
He said that he played 95% were versus afterwards. 95% were I don't know, the best move or something. Or
Yeah.
he made no mistakes, it said.
I mean, it's not impossible. He's like you, Andrew. He's underrated on chess.com.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's probably a good thing that you met each other.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it was if that's the case, it's rather fortunate that you both appeared on the same board, because if you'd been one board differently, then you probably, would have had a different result. So in a way, it was quite a good match.
I regard it as fortunate.
So, Colin, what did you think of Mike Grunfeld?
Yes, I liked it. Yes, I was impressed by the pawn sacrifice.
Yeah, that's in this book that I got, the green book. It's recommended in there.
Which green book is it?
David Vigorito.
Okay.
Grunfeld.
And is it right to follow it up with E5 like you did?
Yes.
Okay, well done, well done.
Yeah, E5 is the right
I have
move.
to admit I was dubious about
And then
that.
Bishop E6, and then it says Black's got ample compensation for the pawn, and so it turned out.
Yeah, well done for playing it.
Well, I've got to try something new.
Yeah.
So we're seeing Clive's game, and it's very even, isn't it?
Well, the computer eval reckons it's half a point for white, but I think I don't know. I prefer to have the white pieces because I think it can go wrong for black. Black didn't take the opportunity to play the tactic that Andrew pointed out. So you could have played bishop. I'm not in the.
Is this live or is this you?
This is live. It's me going back, but the current position is this.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but Black apparently appeared to have a tactic on, which he didn't play.
Yeah.
So not sure why. Now, the question is, can I get to an analysis board from this screen?
Who is it to play here?
White.
White. White's clock's ticking.
Yeah, so...
I mean, you got to get that bishop off a7, haven't you, at some point?
Yeah, but easier said than done.
Yeah, he has to.
And his knight's on at the moment, isn't it?
He has to play the B knight to d4.
Actually, is he in trouble now? Wow.
Yeah, White's in trouble here.
That's okay.
No, it's not, because bishop takes knight.
Bishop c6.
Yeah, but he's got a rook e8.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he's got rook e8.
Oh, that's true. He's got rook e8 after that. Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. And
rook c8, knight e7 check. Aha.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where can this rook go? b8, c8, d8. He's got to go to f8.
Oh, he's done it.
He's done it.
Done it.
Ah.
Take the rook.
Knight e5 now.
Oh, neck.
Excellent.
Oh, that's a funny move, isn't it?
Yeah, you can take that.
Got to go rook check, surely.
There's no rook check.
Oh, sorry. No, it's gone. Yeah. Oh, blimey. That's
His
weird.
knight's on for us.
That's-
Oh, we haven't seen that
Rook takes
move.
knight is tempting, but probably
Maybe you can
not.
play rook takes knight.
Yeah. How about rook b1? Is that an idea?
But he just loses a.
Loses the knight.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, it might be worth losing the knight because those pawns are immensely strong.
Yeah, that's
three
an
pieces.
accidental idea.
It's hard to calculate this. Rook b1.
So it's either rook takes knight or rook d1, perhaps.
Rook b1, knight f3, king f2, bishop a8,
Rook d8.
b5,
I would play rook takes knight here.
knight e5, c5.
What about f4 instead of rook takes knight?
Well,
We've
knight
still got knight
f3
f3
check.
check.
Oh, apologies. Yes.
He's going to play rook takes knight, bishop. Oh, bishop takes rook, and then has to play knight b6.
Hard one, isn't it? Rook d1 isn't.
Rook d1 looks good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because you've then got
Then you've
yes,
got
rook
check.
d1.
Rook d1 is saving the knight.
It is at a cost.
Yeah.
No, he can still play knight f3 check, king, and then king moves, and then knight d4.
No, wait, rook d1, knight f3. Where's the king going?
It has to go to f2.
Oh,
Because you've got
well,
bishop,
f2 then.
bishop d4 check.
Oh
King-
yes.
King g3.
Bishop takes knight.
Oh,
Rook-
yeah,
rook
that's
d8.
nice.
Holding.
Yeah.
Rook
Okay, good point.
d3. Rook
Could
d3.
go king f1 instead of king f2.
Yeah, then you got knight h2 check.
Yeah.
That's another bronze.
Then you go king e1.
Still tricky, isn't it?
No, that's
Knight
a funny
f3
one.
check.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I'll get
Hmm.
the analysis board up.
Wow, that's a very complicated position.
It
Incredible.
is.
But
It
that
is.
has been complicated for a while.
Yeah.
Is that?
White's only got 28 seconds left.
That's a good point. Yeah, leave it on the live, colleague.
Yeah, sorry.
He's only got 20 seconds.
Fair enough.
We
His
might as well
opponent's
see
only got a
that.
minute.
Come on, Clive.
Rook
Go
takes
for it.
knight.
Rook d1, anything.
No, rook b1 or rook
It's
takes
got to
knight.
be rook takes knight.
He's forgotten the time. Oh, dear.
Come
Oh,
on.
no, he hasn't.
Hey.
That's not the
Done
best
that.
move. Not the best move.
He's got to move again fast.
Well, the Val bar hasn't changed yet, but oh dear.
Quick, move. You've got to go quick, haven't you, now? Oh, don't get it. No. No.
Oh no.
What
Oh,
a waste.
yeah, would have gained that. But yeah, I think Julian's right. I think, I mean, the knight's lost, isn't it, there?
But the computer
Yeah, try rook
doesn't
b1, I
say
think.
one.
Yeah, the computer doesn't seem to mind, but who knows?
It's,
Sorry, let's
it's
try.
fiendishly difficult over the board, that position.
Yeah.
It is.
What's the
It
score
is.
of the match?
8.5, 7.5.
Hey.
Well, that
What's
is
the
really
score?
close.
Are there any Edinburgh players on the Zoom call?
There aren't, unfortunately.
Oh, not even the captain?
I did mention it to them.
That's a pity.
Yeah, it is a pity, yeah.
Because part of the fun is, well, watching it as an observer, but when you're playing, well, as soon as you've finished, coming on and seeing how it's going.
Who was Clive's opponent in real life? Is he some?
Frederick Gordon.
What's his grade?
It says 2153.
He's the new superstar. He's about 10 years old, and he played in the British Championship.
Oh, that's him.
Ah.
Oh, that's him. Yeah.
Frederick Gordon.
Yeah, I'm looking,
Gordon.
just to let you know, I'm looking at his game list on chess.com, and his last game before Clive was against an international master called Ripoll, who he beat.
Wow.
I mean, that was a very intricate game all the way through this one.
Is Clive going to come on?
Don't know.
He's not in the waiting room at the moment.
Okay.
Engine still thinks this is equal.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It'd be lovely. It'd be interesting to see Clive's view of the last 5 or 10 minutes of that game. Well, I think it's been a success from what I've seen. What was the analysis and everything like up until
That was dreadful.
that was it. Hang on, I'm going to ask somebody independent here.
Martin, can I just interrupt? Neil B has entered the room. I don't know if that's the Scottish captain.
Neil Bridge.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh no, Neil is their captain.
Yeah. Let him in.
Let him in.
Yeah. Good evening, Neil.
Which player is Neil?
Hello, Neil.
Hi there. I wasn't actually playing tonight.
Well, were you not?
I was I was part of the I was helping. I was the sort of main organizer. So
Very good. Well, thank you for organising.
yeah, I just wanted to have a brief cameo and say thanks for the match. It looked, from what I saw, very close.
It was very close. Who's Scott's geek?
I'm going to get lots of who's who questions. Scott's geek is Ian, who I think is the
Ian Lavin,
guy who'd helped set up actually made the first contact with you guys.
Okay,
you might know Ian quite
he did
well.
very well. All right, it was a good match. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. You've been playing many of these?
We played a few. We played Aberdeen, and we got
Bon Accord, right?
Hamish Olsen played for Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strong. He played Clive Frostick. We played Nairobi, which was a good match. We played the Isle of Wight. We've been up and down the country a bit.
and we've just been joined by Clive. Good evening, Clive.
Hi, Clive.
Hi there. Hello, Martin. How are they doing?
Hi, Clive. Your opponent is a junior genius, apparently.
Yes, I know. I recognise the name. So,
could you talk us through the last 5 or 10 minutes of that last game that we've got on screen?
It was fiendishly complex.
We wouldn't mind rewinding a few moves if it's okay by you.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah. It was interesting about here. I think maybe I should just take on e4. I don't know, but it just looks so interesting. And
the whole game was intricate piece play throughout, Clive, I felt.
Yes, yeah. I mean, my pieces are all a bit offside. And
did you analyse bishop takes b5 and then rook takes a7?
Yeah, I don't think I'm too bothered by this, am I? I
don't know. Are you playing for a win or a draw? Are you playing for a win, I assume?
Yeah, I'm trying to win this one.
White's never in trouble here at all. I mean, it's just a question of whether Black can somehow find a way of blockading with his minor pieces, but it looks very dangerous to me.
It does look dangerous to me too, yeah.
I don't know quite how you achieve it. Rook e7 is a strong threat here, so
you play King f8.
King f8 would be a good start, but still there's some work to do for Black for sure.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I could. Maybe I could ignore the pawn on e4 and play rook c1 straight away or something.
May even be better, yeah.
Hey Neil, you should have been on the commentary team if you weren't playing, because you could have followed all of the games.
I think, but yeah, you guys were looking for a club player's perspective.
Yeah, we have.
I don't know.
Well, that's what happened.
Yeah, I should also say when I did dip in and out, there was a few things that I was missing tonight, so I'm not sure if I would have been able to add too much.
Okay.
Did I miss a win in my first game, Colin?
Oh, I can't remember. Paul.
It was a draw by perpetual, by repetition in the end.
I don't think we saw the end of it, I'm afraid.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite interesting. We'd select one game and it would show another, and consistently between two of us. So it's kind of hit and miss about which game we actually got. If you want to bring it up and show us, if you can share it, that might be a way to have a look at it, if you want to do that.
Let me see if I can do.
So it sounds like, Colin, there's something not quite right with the chess.com sharing games ability.
I think that's fair, to be honest. Honestly, I'll click on Rocky Roller and somebody else's game would come up. It would say watching, and you click that, and somebody else's game would come up. Or maybe not, if you were lucky.
Yeah, and the same was happening to me, Martin. So it's not, it wasn't Colin, it was a software one.
Or I've infected everybody.
Okay, we probably need to try that as a practice match and try and understand what the hell you're supposed to do for that.
I have your game up on my screen, Paul, if you haven't got it up. If you
I've got it now, yeah.
Okay.
So
hang on, I don't see it. Why is that?
I'm not sharing yet.
Okay. Have other people enjoyed it? Mike, have you enjoyed it tonight?
Yes, it's been great. Yeah.
It's quite clever having a match on chess.com and showing it on Zoom. I like the format. I just wonder whether it actually works. I think it sounds like it does.
Yeah, it seemed to work. Right, so this is the critical position.
Oh,
blimey.
And he played this move, B5, which is aggressive. And I thought this, I was way ahead on time at this stage. I had a 5-minute advantage. I thought long and hard about this because I can see that if I take it, I'm going to lose the D pawn and the E pawn.
Oh, yeah.
So I considered just letting him take it and bringing my king across because I thought I could then draw it. But in the end, I decided the B pawn could be quite a threat. So I took. He has to take here, I take, and he takes here. Now at this point, he wants to bring his king across to stop the pawn, I guess. So I played this move. Now, if he plays rook b4, I play rook c7 check, and he's got problems.
Yeah.
So he went here, which was an unusual move, and I went here. He has to go back now. So his rook's completely pinned down. And I think I'm winning this now.
Sure.
He played, and I played what I thought was a good move. I played this, which stops him playing, or makes it difficult for him to play f5. He went here.
Hang on, why can't he play f5?
Well, maybe he can, but at least
then he gets past pawns.
You get very isolated, though. Anyway, he went here. I went here. He went here. Check. I went here. He went here, and then I played what I thought was the winning move. I thought this won.
Why?
Because I'm going to mop up all these pawns on the king side.
Hang on. Why can't you play king d5 here?
I could play king d5 here. It may have been the better move. It probably was.
And why didn't he take with the rook?
Because if he takes with the rook, I check him.
Oh, and then you close
swap off, and my king just is just rampant.
Yeah.
So here he played this. He's down to 23 seconds here, and I should probably play king d5 here, but I was greedy. I played it, and he played this as a good move.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a very good move.
He took.
Oh, you've thrown it away, Paul.
You've done all the wrong moves. You could have played king c5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure king c5 would help a great deal.
Yeah. It still looks good for white, but it probably isn't. Oh no.
Yeah, it's just difficult to advance these pawns now, isn't it?
Well, what should I do here? What's white's plan?
Why didn't black take the pawn?
Check.
He was in check.
Yeah, go back one. Yeah, rook there, check. Now king takes g6.
Pawn takes king.
Dependent.
Pawn takes king.
That's true.
Martin, the rules
Sorry.
of chess.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, playing too much chess online. Go on.
So what? Well, how do I win this now?
Well, you don't. The king's in the wrong place.
I don't think you can.
You're lucky if you draw it.
Yeah, the rooks. What? Yeah. The
it was drawn.
Yeah, the position by this stage is just a draw. I think there's no way of moving advancing the pawns any further. They're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
I think
anyway,
just,
that was
yeah.
I missed a win. I missed a win earlier. I played too quickly. He was in a lot of time trouble.
Yeah, king d5 was right, and I think actually going back to the very start position where you said rook b4 would have got him, and I don't think putting his rook behind the pawn was the right way to. I think.
Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah,
about.
I mean, I think this rook b8. So yeah, takes b5 is a good move. Takes d4, b6. I think for better or worse, black has to play rook b4 here.
I think so.
You're right. You go rook c7 check and b7, and white's definitely pressing. But I think you have to try and keep this rook active.
His king has to go to f6.
Yeah. But the black rook needs to be active. It can't be. It's just too passive in b8.
Yeah.
Okay. Rook b4 and rook b2. So.
All right. Anyway, I managed to squeeze the win out of it in the second game. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. Time for my cocoa.
Well done, Paul.
Cheers.
Well done.
I'll stop share.
Thank you all very much. I'm going to leave as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Good.
Thanks for the game again, guys.
Well
played tonight.
Cheers, thanks, Neil.
Congratulations on 200 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Are you doing something for your 200-year anniversary?
We've got a few things in mind that we're still working towards. I think this whole pandemic's throwing a few spanners in the works. So hopefully we'll run some events. We're hoping to get some, maybe one, maybe two sort of GMs up to give, talks and exhibitions and things. We're hoping to arrange a correspondence match and these sort of things. So plenty going on.
Do let us know what you do, because Camberley Chess Club would like to support you and market you and advertise what you're doing, obviously for our benefit as well. We'd love to. I mean, we're only 100 years old, so a 200-year-old chess club needs a lot of promotion. So we'd love to do it.
I appreciate that very much. Thanks, guys. We'll be in touch for sure.
Okay, good.
I have memories of Edinburgh Chess Club when I played at the British Championship in 1985. I slept on the floor for the whole 2 weeks in Edinburgh Chess Club.
Oh, is that Jeff's fault? Was it?
It was. I didn't have much money, and it was just cheap.
Cheap.
The guy, you have someone who
caretaker,
caretaker who lives there.
It might have been Jeff at the time. I can't remember, Jeff Chandler. But,
no, it wasn't. No,
wasn't him. It was someone else.
Someone else.
Sure. That sounds like a good story to write up and pass to Edinburgh Chess Club.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much. We played Blitz. We went to the pub, then we came back, played Blitz till the early hours, and then we slept on the floor. I think caretaker had a bed, and I just slept on the wooden floors, isn't it? Just
they're carpeted now, but maybe 85 they were.
Yeah, it's wooden floors. Then. I think
caretaker has its own room. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
needless to say, I didn't trouble the scorers very much in the actual tournament.
It doesn't sound ideal.
No, no.
No, that's very good. Glad we could have helped. In
So
some
you
way.
accommodated me.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Ed.
Neil.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Hey, gentlemen.
Good night, Sandy.
Cheers, Sandy.
Thank you, Colin, for your analysis and keeping track of everything, and Mark for putting it
Well,
all
Mark
together.
especially. Mark kept track better than I did. I think it was.
No, I really appreciated your commentary, Colin. It was learned a few things there, so that was great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I would thank Paul for organising it, but he's gone, so I don't have to.
No, don't bother with that.
Yeah, yeah.